Hey guys, this is Jimmy from Primer is Best. I'm kind of doing a little bit of an update video on a video I just made about me selling my cars and trucks, my classic cars and trucks, a 57 GMC step-side bed, two 57 Chevy trucks. One was a big back glass truck, if you're familiar with them, short bed step-sides, a 62 Bel Air wagon, and a 62 Impala Super Sport 327 4-speed car. I'll try to remember once again to leave a link in the description of this video. You can just click on it and you can go to that video and you can see the cars and trucks that I sold. And the reason why I sold them is because I was wanting to retire. I was wanting to answer a few comments from the video I posted about why I sold those cars and trucks. The reason I sold them is, like I said at the first part of the video, I was wanting to retire, and I was wanting to retire real bad. I hope you can see me. The sun's kind of bright today, but I was wanting to retire really badly, and I've had a lot of questions and comments since that video. I'm going to try to answer just a few of them. I don't want to bore you to death, but I get asked the same questions over and over. So the place that I worked at that I retired, it was a wonderful place, absolutely wonderful. I told everybody that I knew or asked me, if they said, "Jimmy, where do you work?" I told them, and I was proud to tell them where I worked at. I was so happy to be there at that place. They had a wonderful management crew. The HR was helpful. I mean, they'd go above and beyond. I mean, it was almost a dream, really. I mean, everybody was so nice. If you had a concern, they would help you with it. It was unbelievable. And like I said, I was there 25 years at this particular place. Well, for many years I was real happy. You got a raise twice a year. One was a cost of living in April, and then in September or October you got another raise for just a raise. And everybody worked hard. You got profit sharing too. Once a month you got profit sharing, and if everybody done good, you got your numbers. You done, like I said, I worked really hard trying to get my numbers even after the whole thing just kind of collapsed. If you done good, I've heard employees, they'd take off their gloves, work gloves, and throw them in the trash, and they'd say, other employees would say, that's part of my profit sharing, right? And they'd dig them back out and wear them some more. I mean, that's the kind of place it was. It was an awesome place. But like everything else, they quit giving us cost of living. They quit giving us a raise. They quit, profit sharing once a month. You'd get a check and it'd be as big. The check would be as big as what I brought home in a week. I mean, it was awesome. We had pension. I mean, it was an awesome place to work. I know I've said that a bunch, but the more I think about it, I'm thinking, man, that was a dream come true, and I would have still been there. It was a great place. But what's been happening, just think for just a moment, what's been happening in this country? Every kind of business is going to other countries. This particular company I worked at, word got back to us, employees on the floor, that they were building a plant in Mexico. So we had a plant-wide meeting. The manager said, and he was lying, by the way. He said, "No, we're not building a plant in Mexico." They did build a plant in Mexico, and all the money that they saved by not giving us pay raises, cost of living, pension, the monthly gain sharing, it all went to the Mexican plant. And the ironic thing I thought was kind of funny was, of course, labor's cheaper in Mexico. Now, I don't have nothing against Mexico. I don't have nothing against Mexican people. I don't have nothing against anybody. But let me say that right up front. But the ironic thing is, they got that business going, and they took away business from our facility here in the good old US of A, took it down to Mexico, and they started doing that product, making that product. Well, like I said, the ironic thing was the Mexican plant started doing our product. We lost jobs because they shipped it to Mexico. Well, the Mexicans couldn't do it, wasn't doing quality work, so they would ship everything that they done, every item, every product, ship it back to us and make us go through it. They'd pull us off of our jobs and make us go through the Mexicans' parts and fix them. To make them a quality part. Some of them you had to throw away. But how does that save money? Why? How is that a good decision? I mean, even if I was in management, I would be saying, what's wrong here? What's wrong? Yeah, I mean, we're paying so-and-so in Mexico X amount of dollars. We're saving $6, $7, $10 an hour per, according to the employee that we were making in the US of A. But you're having to ship it back and forth across the border. Across the border. And how does that save money? How does that explain, that you're, yeah, this is a great decision. I'm glad we done it. And they're all, management's all patting themselves on the back. I don't get it. I really don't. But anyway, I had some people comment on the video that I was talking about. I could never have sold the 62. I could have never sold the GMC or the Chevrolet trucks or the station wagon. Or in one guy's instance, comment, he said, I would never sell my dream cars, my classic cars or trucks. Well, I'm glad that you don't have. I'm glad you're not forced into that, where you have to sell something. But guys, you don't understand. This place was killing me. It was killing me. And I could see my health going down, and it wasn't the health so much. It was the stress. It came to me. It made a point to me that why am I risking my health? And coming home so tired, not just physically, but mentally, just mentally tired from getting yelled at, someone talking to you and abusing you, saying things that, when you're one-on-one with your boss, who's to say, that, she said this or he said that, it's one-on-one. They're going to tell you what exactly you want. They're going to tell you what they want you to know in so many words. Abusive. Get it? Abusive. And it just doesn't make sense to be. You don't have to be abused, guys. Like I said, the point of the video is retire. Start saving your money. Retire, because I predict that things are going to get worse. I mean, if you're in a great job, which some folks said read the comments. Some folks said they were in a good place in their job. I'm so proud of you. The Lord's blessed you. But I was not. And, I was not. It wasn't a good place to work. And I've had some of my friends that I used to work with watch the video, and they agreed 100% with me. But it was, like I said, it was a great place. It was a great place to work at one time. But they sold out to a company. They sold out to a company, another company, and then they sold out to another company. And it was all mismanaged. You can't tell somebody. Here's the way folks in management think most of the time. I'm going to act like someone in management, typical management, most of the time. Not everybody, but most of the time. Yeah, this guy can learn this job, and give him 15 minutes or 20 minutes. No, that's not how it works. You're running a welding operation. Some of these people don't even know how to weld. They've never been around a robot. They've never been around, a welding environment, what to do. They don't know. Honestly, they don't know. They don't know how to do anything, and it takes a long time to learn some of this stuff. And that's if you know how to weld. The robot welds the parts, and then you have to repair the parts a lot of times. Now, I had this one feller. I run a job on day shift, and it required welding. And this other guy on day shift, on second shift, he would come in after me and do my same job. Well, the guy on second shift, this guy knew better. He knew better. I mean, he just didn't care anymore. You've heard that saying, quietly quitting? I think he was quietly quitting. That's just my take over it. He never did care what anything turned out like. So, he just rushed stuff through. He didn't care if it welded it or not. Just throw it in a tub, throw it in a basket, whatever. And, he's done. And so the next day, my boss would come up to me and say, "Hey, Jimmy, second shift got, 1,500 more parts than you did. What's he done? What's he done? How can you get as many as you're getting?" I said, "I'll tell you how he's getting it." I said, "Look at his parts." And, every other day they'd bring back all his parts because he left something off. The welds were so crappy that they, you could practically lift up the part that was being welded to the other part. You could practically lift it up with your finger. I mean, it wouldn't stuck, wouldn't welded. The parts looked terrible. My parts look good. I mean, I looked at every part after it come off the robot. If it needed repaired, I got it repaired. It's the management just cares about numbers. That's it. They don't care. Speaking for myself, and once again, I'm going to say this. This is my opinion. They don't care about me. They didn't care about anybody else in the whole factory facility, other than if you were, like a best friend, hung out with the bosses after work, or a lot of them were kinfolk. You didn't know it by the last name, but yeah, that manager there, plant manager, I'm his cousin. You see, I'm his nephew on his mother's side. That's one thing I learned after being there for a little while. Do not say nothing about anybody. Don't say nothing about anybody, because if you do, that person's probably kin to the one that you're talking about. Hey, I had this manager. My job was way, way down on the other side of the plant. It way down on the other side. There was no restrooms. So me and another guy, our break time was over, 10 minutes. Well, we were right next to a restroom. And I said, "You know what?" I said, "Because we have to work so far down on the other end, I mean, it's a good distance." I said, "I'm going to go to the restroom real quick so I don't have to walk all the way back up here and walk all the way back going to the restroom." He said, "I think I will too." So we went to the restroom. We was just there a minute, washed our hands, come out, and was walking back to our job. Well, we got really scared. Our manager jumped out from behind a beam, a beam in the middle of the aisle. He was hiding behind there, and he jumped out right in front of us. I mean, scared me to death, him, my buddy too. And he said, "You're late." And I said, "Well," I said, "let me explain." I said, "We went to the restroom. There's no restroom down here on the other end." And he just jumped us one upside down the other. But I mean, if you got to go to the restroom and you're trying to save them money, by not walking off your job, 10 minutes, 5 minutes to walk, 10 minutes walk to the restroom, then 5-10 minutes back, aren't you saving them money? I mean, really? And he knew that. I'll tell you something else about this same feller. We worked, 7 days a week, but we worked, our jobs would work like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we would be out of parts Thursday and Friday, out of parts. And miraculously, the parts would show up on Saturday and Sunday. So we'd have to work. We worked every weekend, you know, never failed. So I come in one morning to see if we even had parts, you know, because we'd run the weekend before. You know, I got there early, always looking to see, you know, how things stood, you know, if we was going to get to work that day on that particular job. That was, you know, my job. And the guy, my manager, he was over counting parts and the manager as well. So I went over there, and he said, what do you want? And I said, well, I'm just seeing if we have any parts to run the jobs today. And I said, you know, I can't figure this place out. I said, I don't know who counts parts here, you know, but I said, they got to be losing money because they're paying us time and a half on Saturday, double time on Sunday, because we don't have no parts Thursday and Friday. If they would order enough parts, you know, a day or two ahead of time, you know, so we didn't have to work the weekend, they'd be saving money. Man, he blowed up. And I didn't know it because he was the one that ordered parts. He said, I'm the one that orders parts. I order the parts. I said, well, do you not realize that, you know, I said, you're home with your family every weekend. Every weekend. I said, you can make plans to do something on the weekends because you're home every weekend. No matter what, whether we're working or not, he's home. He's fishing. He's spending time with his wife. He's spending time with his children. And so anyway, needless to say, I got wrote up that day. And it was because I called him out on him being insufficient on his job. He took me to the office and he wrote me up for some measly something. And it was all a joke. He just wanted to prove that he could write me up. Getting back to another comment that people make on the last video. Well, why don't you quit? Why don't you move on? Well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why did you stay that long? As I said before, there comes a certain, you're not going to believe this, maybe, I don't know, but there comes a certain age in your life where another company doesn't want to take the time to spend with you to get you trained to do a job at their facility that that they know you're probably not going to be there too long because you're going to retire, right? Or you're going to, or, you know, or they can look at you and say, hey, you know, speaking for myself, this guy's old. He's probably got some health issues. Let's just not hire him. You know, let's try to stick. Y'all can say that don't happen, a lot of y'all, but it does happen. It happens a lot. Discrimination against age, discrimination, you know, against something about your health, maybe. So I didn't go anyplace else. I stuck in there. Like I said, I'd finally made it to day shift, which was a challenge in itself, because everybody on second and third shift kept quitting, so they kept you on second and third shift, right? For the longest, I was on there for years. So I enjoyed spending time with my wife and children when my children were still at home. I wanted to be off every weekend, just like everybody else. I could not make plans for nothing. They would not tell you if you had to work the weekend or not until like 15 minutes before quitting time on Friday. Honestly, 15 minutes before quitting time, sometimes 5 minutes before quitting time. Hey, Jimmy, you got to work this weekend. You can't make plans to go anywhere. No place. Nothing. So, I mean, you're always on. I felt like I was on call. I felt like I worked for an ambulance service or a doctor's office or whatever, you know, or a policeman. I mean, that's how I felt, you know, hey, I need you to work, you know, you're working. And by the way, I'll be gone all weekend. If you have a problem, call so-and-so. You know, that's the same guy that wrote me up. He made up some measly excuse. to write me up, just to prove that he's the one in charge. I never did understand that. Like I said, the management at this place was so poor. It was ridiculous. How they kept the job, I'll never know. I know they must have to have fudged somehow, some way, lying about something, whatever. We've had a bunch of plant managers at that place, and starting with the one that said that we weren't building a plant in Mexico, from then on, every manager after that was just poor. Another plant manager, poor excuse for a plant manager. Oh my goodness. I'm just telling you a few stories. Now, if you'd like to hear more stories like this, let me know in the comments. It is just absolutely, positively ridiculous. I mean, even somebody like me that has not had much schooling. I mean, yeah, I went a year and a half to community college. But I mean, even if I was a freshman in high school, I still had more sense than those people in management. Honestly. And I mean, I'm not bragging on myself. I'm not smart in any capacity. But I mean, I have enough sense to know that if everybody in my department is working every Saturday and Sunday because I order 500 parts and I should be ordering, 700 or 800 parts so they don't have to work the weekend, I'm saving the company money, right? It don't make no sense. I'm paying time and a half and double time because I won't order more parts. I never did understand it. And he wound up being superintendent, by the way, just so you know. He didn't just move up. I mean, he way up. And they're all kin. They're all kinfolk. Their sons work there. Their sisters work there. Their cousins work there. Like I said, you don't dare say nothing to nobody because they might be kin by marriage. I mean, you don't know. I found that out the hard way. Anyway, I'm glad I got out of there when I did. And if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link in the description. Just let me know if you've experienced this stuff. I mean, I'm giving you a little bitty taste of what I went through. It's too late to quit to go someplace else. I don't want to start on another shift and be away from my wife and my kids at nighttime. I want to be able to have a few hours, when they get home from school and my wife got home from work, a few hours before, bedtime, to spend a few quality hours with my wife and kids. I missed a big part of my kids and my wife because I was, working second or third shift. I'd be asleep during the day. By the time they got home, I was getting ready to leave. I was working 12-hour swings and just plain 8-hour. I worked a lot of oddball shifts. So when I got on days, I was very appreciative. My health got better too. Y'all have a blessed day. God bless y'all. You're watching Jimmy. My name is Primer Is Best. My name is Jimmy. You're watching Primer Is Best on YouTube. Hang on, guys. Made it back home, guys. I don't know where I left off at, but I think I was in the video. My name is Jimmy. I probably said that 3 or 4 times, and I apologize. You're watching Primer Is Best. Also, on Facebook, Primer Is Best. Instagram, Primer Is Best. I got a second YouTube channel called Man on a Budget that my wife and I post yard sales, thrift stores, pawn shops, auctions, stuff like that, mostly on that particular channel, Man on a Budget. You might enjoy watching them. If you do, please like and subscribe. It sure would help our channel, Primer Is Best and Man on a Budget. Also, I'm on Instagram, Man on a Budget 1, and Facebook, Man on a Budget. Please leave me a comment. Let me know you're on board, okay? I sure would appreciate it. And I want to thank you for listening to my work. Why you should be saving for retirement now. That's the whole point. I'm trying to help at least one person. If you would like and subscribe, maybe if you like these kind of videos, I have lots of stories I can tell you about my experiences working, doing factory work. I went through a year and a half of college. I met this girl and we got married. So that was the end of my college. I learned how to aluminum weld. I can weld. So that's been the biggest part of my life is welding. So, that's where I spent most of my life, breathing in smoke. And, that's a life I chose. So anyway, some of it, there's no need though for somebody being cruel to someone, verbally abusing or whatever. So, I mean, there's no need in that. You would think management would be, upper, you know, they're supposed to be smarter. I disagree. God bless y'all. Thanks for watching, guys. And I hope to see you in the next video. Let me know if you like these kind of videos because I got lots of stories if you're interested. God bless y'all. Take care. May the Lord watch over you and your children and your family. God bless you. See you later.